I am so sick of experts telling you that you need this elaborate morning routine because the chances are you don't. I believe you can actually have more flow, be more productive, and more at peace in your life with less stress if you don't buy into this concept of this huge morning routine. If you haven't heard about a morning routine, essentially it can influence a whole bunch of different things. For example, you would exercise first thing in the morning. You would journal or meditate or write your pages, like whatever it is that you are supposed to do to get into this optimal state. Even making your bed, I'm going to let you off the hook. If you aren't jazzed up by making your bed and it makes you feel like it's just one more task as opposed to, anyway, we can get it down a whole rabbit hole around making your bed. But before I get into why, I want to tell you why I'm so frustrated with it. Because when I'm coaching professionals, they come to me when they're feeling really stressed, overwhelmed. They feel like they're kind of resenting their life and the work that they used to love. And they just feel like they're suffocating on the daily grind. They're so caught up in having to pay the bills and do the work they do. And it's like they just have nothing left in their tank to give. And if they keep going, then they're going to be totally frustrated and have a lot of regret in their life. So that is a very typical scenario. But as I dig in with them and we get started in my work, what I inevitably hear are things like, I try to exercise and, I know if I set my alarm at 5 o'clock in the morning, I can get up and I can get my workout in and I can meditate and all of this. And then I'm like, okay, but you're judging yourself on that. Because you're not doing it because either it's not a priority, it doesn't actually make you feel better, or there's just something amiss. It's a bigger issue. So this whole blanket idea of you need a strong morning routine is, I think, actually layering in guilt and disappointment and all of these pieces. And so what do I believe instead? First, how you start your day does not need to define how you end your day. One of the popular reasons why you want to have a good morning routine is because it really just lays the foundation for your entire day. But here's the thing, if that is true, then if you don't do well in the morning or your family is off the rails and everybody's late and maybe somebody slept in or you forgot to charge your phone and now you're without a phone, then what, are you destined to have a shitty day? No, you can reset your day at any point that you choose. It's not all dependent on how you wake up and what you do in the morning. The next piece is, I actually think the more powerful way to have a really great morning and a beautiful day is how you end your day. Have you done the list of, here are the challenges I need to solve, here are my obstacles, here are the things I need to get done tomorrow, and really get into that state of gratitude. I think it's actually more powerful to do it, or at least I found for myself, more powerful to do that at the end of the day. So then I'm sleeping in a really great frame of mind. And when I wake up, I'm ready to go, ready to get on with the day. So I'm going to encourage you to consider that philosophy as well. Another piece is we have to decide what is your flow. What is your best flow? I used to buy into this whole idea of having a big elaborate morning routine, and I would go to class, like a workout class, or I'd do something at home, and then I'd be all sweaty. It'd be 10 o'clock in the morning before I actually get anything of value done in terms of my company. So I was like, this isn't working for me. Where I need the workout, where I need the pick-me-up and the recalibrating of my day is usually in the middle of the afternoon. And so people say, well, if I don't work out first thing in the morning, I'm not going to get it done. And I'm going to push back on you, because what I'm going to say to that is, then we have a bigger problem, because you're either not prioritizing well enough, you're not setting boundaries well enough, you are not in control of how you're approaching the constant barrage of other people's issues and fires that you need to put out as a leader. There's a bigger issue if you can't get time to work out, if you don't do it when people aren't awake. Just throwing that out, and we can talk about how do you put that into the day. Do I believe that it's really important to set your frame of mind for the day? Yes, I also think it's important to reset your frame of mind throughout the day. We can do this by stacking our mindfulness in everything we do. So if part of your morning routine that you've bought into is, I need to listen to something positive, well, great. Listen to something positive while you're washing your face and brushing your teeth and eating your breakfast. Stack it on to the things that need to get done. So going back to the idea of flow, what I notice for myself is if I wake up drink some coffee, and I'm in that little bit of a haze of nothing has gotten in my way yet, like in terms of other people or issues or email or etc., which we all deal with. And I go into creativity, or I go into strategy, or I go into organization in a really, like, here's where are my priorities and what do I really want to do? That is a much better use of my time. And there's so many people who are like, you know what, if I work in the morning instead of like trying to do this elaborate morning routine, then I actually get a lot more done by 9:30. And when everybody else gets into the routine, then I'm good for the day for whatever comes my way. Ride that beautiful approach to honoring your flow. I think more than anything, it's important if you're watching gurus who say you have to have the ultimate morning routine. And some of my favorites preach this. Lewis Howes, Tom Bilyeu. I'm gonna watch all these people and they're all about the morning routine. And then I get the real people in my life, not the superstars who are just creating content, but the executives who have thousands of people who are under their, purview and their leadership, and they're judging themselves because it's not working for them. And I'm like, it's okay that it's not working for you. When we watch these gurus or these thought leaders who I have so much respect for, and by the way, I consider myself a thought leader and a content creator. So I say this about the work I share is like, you can accept the advice, but you want to listen to it and then filter it through your own lens, your own self-awareness and your own what works for you. So I'm thinking of one particular client of mine who really was doing this beautiful morning routine, right? She had read that it was critical and she was going to meditate and she was going to work out and she was going to have all this alone time and self-care and all this in the morning routine. And it just wasn't working because she was losing precious 2 hours in the morning of all this self-care. And then her kids would wake up and she would get caught up in the thing, and then she wouldn't actually have time to do her priorities. So we flipped it. And she woke up, did all her priorities and the actual work that required her best brain focus. Then we went into, her morning with her kids and everything that worked out there, but she felt so accomplished. And then because we were really strategic, and she used my Take Back Your Weekends online course, that was initially how she came to me, because she's like, oh, this is really powerful. This shifts how I think about everything I've got to get done. We removed a lot of the overwhelm. And so then she hired me as a private coach, and we went through and we really strategized how she was planning her day. And you know what she found is that she's like me. She needs the afternoon workout where she actually ended up putting it in with some networking time. So like stacking opportunities where she would bring one of her senior leaders with her and they would go for a hike. But it was really powerful about how much more productivity she got done by releasing the expectation of this huge, complicated morning routine that everybody tells us to do. I'm going to push back on Mel Robbins, and there's other speech talks about make your bed in the morning. And I have huge respect for that philosophy. But again, here's the thing. If it doesn't light your soul, don't do it. I could not care less if my bed is made. Because first of all, my dog sleeps longer than I sleep. So if I make the bed, I'm actually disrupting him, and now I got to throw off my whole morning. It doesn't make me feel accomplished. But it's these blanket statements of like, if you do this, you're gonna be awesome. No, if you do this and it doesn't fit for your personality, or it doesn't light your soul, or it doesn't align with your energy, then it's actually gonna backfire for you. One other piece of the puzzle here. I have, if you know my story at all, I have neuropathic pain, and I have to manage that each and every day. It's been 17 years, so I'm pretty good at managing it. I have to be so careful about how I allocate my limited resources to figure out what I need to get done, to think about everything like that mindset piece, and my emotions, I've got to put time for those, and then all of the habits and the essence around. Because I have to manage my pain. And by the way, I know not everybody has physical pain, but a lot of people do. And it may not feel like a serrated edge knife like it does for me. It might be whatever your thing is that you're managing. And maybe it's grief. Maybe it's a health diagnosis. Maybe it's somebody in your family has, an addiction, right? Like it could be anything that you're trying to manage. When we look at how we're using our limited resources to do, to think, to feel, to be, if we're putting this layer of pressure on ourselves that we need to have this beautiful, complex morning routine in order to set us up for a perfect day. It could be going against what you really need. And I'm just thinking, like, even in terms of my pain tends to get worse later in the day as I use up my resources after I sit for a long time or whatever. And so if I use up that precious energy when my pain is lower to do things like exercise, it robs me of my optimal time of performance. Now that's me. You could be absolutely somebody who loves working out in the morning. Awesome. Go for it, do it. But if you're someone who it's not working for, there are alternatives that you can choose to strategize and have beautiful mornings that serve you and are setting you up for a beautiful day. You say, okay, I'm gonna do this perfect morning routine. I'm gonna get up at 5 a.m. and I'm gonna go work out right away and all of this, but then you don't wake up because it's not natural for your body to get up at 5 a.m. and you wake up at 6, but now you don't have time. You're actually gonna linger with the sense of failure throughout the whole day, and yet your body was sleeping. Is there discipline around being able to get up within 5 minutes of the alarm or 5 seconds or whatever it is? Yeah, but your body slept. So what, now you're a total failure for the whole day? If you're gonna make the commitment to be mindful, to meditate, to pray, to journal, to exercise, whatever those things are that are on that magical morning routine, I would suggest, can you do those by the end of each day? Doesn't matter when you do them, but do them by the end of each day. That, to me, is a more achievable goal that will set you up for optimal performance, more than expecting yourself to do all of that in the morning. So with all the love and respect to those people who are preaching, you need a perfect morning routine, I'm calling bullshit. You get to do whatever you need to do in the morning. Otherwise, all we're doing is creating unnecessary expectations and unnecessary pressure and unnecessary destructive stress in your life. So I would love to hear your opinion, dare I ask, in the comments below. And how are you going to design your morning routine?